Welcome, everyone, to our story today. It's a tale that truly shows how help can come from the most unexpected places, at the most unexpected times. Our story begins with a man from one of the cities in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He was a man blessed by God with wealth and a successful business. He shares his incredible experience with us. He says, "Every day, I'd leave my shop around 9 p.m. and head home. Dinner would always be ready, and I'd eat with my wife and children. We didn't stay up late. By 11 p.m., after some time with my family, I'd go to bed. Sleep always came easily to me, thank God, because my routine was to wake up before the Fajr prayer with my wife to read the Quran. The one particular night was different. I just couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned, completely baffled. It was the first time this had ever happened. I wasn't worried about anything. My mind was clear. I turned off the lights, hoping darkness would help, but nothing worked. My wife was fast asleep beside me, and I kept wondering, what's wrong with me tonight? I hadn't had any coffee or tea since the afternoon. 2 hours passed, and I was still wide awake. I remembered hearing that drinking milk can help you sleep. So, I went to the kitchen, poured a cold glass of milk, added a little water, and drank it. Still nothing. I even had a second glass, went back to bed, and waited. But sleep just wouldn't come. I never used my phone before bed, but out of sheer desperation, I picked it up and started scrolling through random videos until my eyes felt heavy and dizzy. Finally, I thought, I'm going to sleep now. I put my head on the pillow. But my mind was still racing. I was completely awake. In a last-ditch effort to do something productive, I decided to call the night guard at my food trading warehouse. I dialed the number from memory, but when the call connected, it wasn't my guard's voice. It was a woman, and she was crying. She pleaded, "Please, please don't hang up." And then the line went dead. I was startled. I checked the number I had dialed and realized I'd made a mistake. It was just one digit off from my guard's number. I sat there in the dark, thinking for a full half hour. Should I call back? Was it a prank? My conscience wouldn't let it go. Finally, around 2:45 in the morning, I decided to call the number again. She answered immediately, still crying hysterically. "Please, don't hang up," she begged. "My son. He's only 6 years old. He just lost consciousness. He's my only child, and my husband passed away. Please, you have to help me. He's dying right in front of me." My heart sank. "Where are you?" I asked, my voice steady. She told me she was in a small, isolated home west of the airport and gave me her exact location. Without a second thought, I woke up my wife and quickly explained what was happening. We rushed out of the house and drove into the quiet of the night. When we arrived, we found the woman standing outside, her face etched with panic. My wife went with me. As we entered the house, the sight was heartbreaking. Her little boy was lying motionless, burning with a high fever, and so thin he looked like a fragile stick. He was completely unconscious. We knew we couldn't waste a second. We carefully carried him to our car and rushed to the nearest 24-hour clinic. The doctor examined him and told us his condition was extremely serious. I stayed at the hospital with them while my wife did her best to comfort the distraught mother who couldn't stop crying. As the time for the dawn prayer approached, I went to a nearby mosque to pray Fajr. I prayed with all my heart for the little boy. When I returned to the clinic about 45 minutes later, I saw a sight that filled me with relief. My wife was smiling. "What happened?" I asked, my heart pounding. She smiled wider and said, "The boy woke up just 5 minutes ago. His fever has broken. The doctor said it was a severe throat infection that had spiraled out of control, but he's going to be fine now." All praise is due to God. The boy's mother, her eyes filled with tears of gratitude, approached me. She said, "We don't have anything to eat. My husband died 2 years ago. We are not from here. We are foreigners with no family, no support, and no income. We are too scared to leave the country because we would have nowhere to go. I would rather die here with my son than wander lost somewhere else." Her words hit me hard. I immediately went to a nearby shop and bought pastries and juice for the boy. Later that day, I took them both to the market and bought them enough food and essentials to last them for a while. As I dropped them back at their small home, a question burned in my mind. I turned to her and asked, "Sister, please tell me, what was your prayer tonight? In all my life, I have never been unable to sleep like I was tonight. What kept me awake? What made me make a mistake dialing a number, only to reach you?" She looked at me, her voice trembling with emotion, and said, "By God, my brother, my son had just lost consciousness, and I was all alone." I sat beside him, crying, and I raised my hands to God. I said, "O Lord, you alone hear my cries in the silence of this night. No one sees my despair but you. I have no one to turn to, no family, no help. O God, I beg you, by your hidden soldiers, protect my son and save him." I stood there, completely stunned. It was her prayer. Her desperate, sincere prayer to God was the reason for my sleeplessness. It was why my fingers dialed the wrong number. In that moment, I understood. God had chosen me to be one of his hidden soldiers, an answer to a mother's plea. This experience taught me a profound lesson. That's why I tell everyone, if you are struggling with debt, family problems, health issues, or any hardship at all, turn to God. Don't think for a moment that hardship only affects the poor. Even the wealthy face their own trials. The ultimate solution is always with God, who can send help in ways you could never, ever imagine. And to the young men and women listening, if you face failure in your studies or in your life, do not give up hope. God may be preparing to open a door for you that you never knew existed. Always trust in his plan and say, "Praise be to God for this test, for it might be the key to something far greater." The story of this man and this mother teaches us so much. First, never, ever underestimate the power of a sincere prayer. A mother's heartfelt call for help in the dead of night reached the heavens, and the universe conspired to answer her. Second, God's help truly comes in the most mysterious ways. A sleepless night and a wrong number weren't accidents. They were part of a divine plan, a perfect example of how God's mercy works through ordinary people. And finally, it reminds us that kindness and compassion are among the highest forms of worship. Helping someone in their moment of distress doesn't just help them, it brings peace and blessings into our own lives, reminding us that we can all be instruments of God's grace. Thank you for listening to this incredible story with us today. We hope it has touched your heart as much as it has ours. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories. May God bless you all.